Donald Trump today vowed to impose a 200% tariff on John Deere's imports. Back in June, John Deere announced it would be relocating certain production lines to facilities in Mexico. Trump disagreed with this decision and made a strong threat that could affect the company's bottom line. He warned, "If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything you want to sell into the United States." John Deere's move, while on the surface appearing to be a strategic expansion, sparked a much larger dispute. This dispute involved everything from trade policy and political loyalty to labor issues. The company confirmed plans to expand into Mexico with a new manufacturing facility scheduled to begin operations by 2026. Trump quickly reacted, expressing his displeasure and accusing the company of betraying American workers. He then issued a harsh warning: a 200% tariff on every John Deere product made outside the US borders. The message was clear: take jobs out of the US and face a political price when trying to sell back into the country. John Deere's decision wasn't made lightly. Behind the scenes, board members debated the move for months, considering the data, projections, and external pressures. Manufacturing costs in the US had risen significantly. Supply chains were congested and labor was scarce. Competitors like Kubota and Mahindra had already established low-cost manufacturing in Asia, and John Deere was struggling to keep up. Mexico, with its lower labor costs and proximity to Latin American agricultural markets, emerged as a solution. The company invested $55 million in a state-of-the-art facility to produce mid-frame skid steer loaders and compact track loaders, machines designed for small to mid-sized farms. This expansion was intended to address a growing demand in agriculture, especially in markets like Brazil, Argentina, and Colombia. Despite Trump's personal attack, John Deere stood by its decision. The company clarified that the Mexico expansion would affect less than 5% of its North American production. Its core business, including large tractors and harvesters, would still be made in US factories. They were not abandoning America, but rather adapting to global needs. Wall Street reacted cautiously, but positively. After an initial dip, John Deere's stock rebounded, and analysts from Bloomberg and Goldman Sachs praised the move as necessary and forward-looking. The shift in farming demand to the south made sense, and while tariffs could hurt in the short term, they were unlikely to derail a long-term growth strategy. Some insiders even speculated that Trump's threats could indirectly benefit John Deere, as any tariffs would affect all foreign producers, not just the company. Mexico's expansion still leads to the majority of its products being made in the United States. Competitors like Mahindra, Yanmar, and Kubota, however, do not follow this approach. Ironically, the tariff backlash could be worse for Deere's rivals, but none of that mattered in the court of public opinion. Rural voters, especially in swing states, began to split in Facebook groups and talk radio call-ins. The situation played out like a family argument. One side defended Deere as a vital business trying to adapt, while the other demanded loyalty, framing the move as a betrayal. Trump's allies in Congress joined in, with senators from strongly conservative states issuing statements urging Deere to reconsider. The House Agriculture Committee scheduled hearings, and the White House floated the idea of investigating government contracts to ensure no taxpayer dollars were spent on Deere imports. Behind the scenes, Deere's lobbyists worked hard. They met with trade officials and pitched congressional staffers, reminding everyone that John Deere is not just a brand, but a cornerstone of US agriculture. They argued that banning or heavily taxing Deere would harm the very farmers the tariffs were intended to protect. Still, Trump escalated. He repeated his threat at a rally in Ohio, naming Deere 5 times. He promised to impose tariffs so high that Deere would never forget. The crowd cheered, but Deere was not alone. Other corporations were watching. If Deere gave in, it would signal that no company could operate globally without facing political punishment. But if Deere held firm, it could set a precedent, a new standard where business leaders make decisions based on data, not political threats. So far, Deere is holding its ground. Meanwhile, the company is not only thinking about where it manufactures, but also what it manufactures. The future of agriculture isn't about specific colors like red, white, or green. It's electric, autonomous, and smart. Deere's investment in automation is substantial. Its autonomous tractors are already working US fields without drivers. The company's software division is developing AI systems to manage entire farms from a tablet. Drones scout for pests, and machines spray with centimeter precision. Data flows in real time, and the key point is that these machines don't care where they were made. They only care about how fast and efficiently they can operate. This brings us back to the myth Trump keeps promoting, the promise of bringing jobs back. It sounds compelling and draws applause, but in modern manufacturing, it doesn't hold up. Even if Deere moved all of its factories back to Iowa tomorrow, the jobs wouldn't go to people. They would go to machines. Automation is not driven by politics. It's driven by mathematics. According to Oxford Economics, up to 20 million manufacturing jobs could disappear globally by 2030 due to automation, and the trend is accelerating. Deere is not avoiding American labor. It's facing a future where labor, as we know it, is becoming obsolete. In this context, Deere's move to Mexico is not just an economic decision, it's an evolutionary one. It signals that the age of geography is being replaced by the age of technology. And that's what makes this conflict so symbolic. On one side, there's a populist president promising to bring back a world that no longer exists. On the other, there's a global company preparing for a world that has already arrived. It's nostalgia versus innovation, emotion versus execution. And in the middle stands the American farmer, trying to figure out whom to trust. So, what happens next? That depends on you. Will voters punish Deere for making a move it believes will keep the company viable, or will they punish Trump for risking access to the very equipment that keeps American farms running? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this fight isn't just about tariffs, it's about the future. If you found this breakdown helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more in-depth analyses like this one. Stay sharp, stay curious, and remember, the machines are coming, but politics are already here.